Minions might just be the best movie to grace any movie theater screen since 2015 with the last Minions movie. Let's just start with the characters. The DMCU is known for two people. The Minions, specifically Kevin, Bob, and Otto, then the main guy, Gru. The emotional arc Gru goes on in this film while rising to fame is just incredible. The way he just abandons his minions so simply to chase the fame is so sad that Martin Scorsese was probably crying in the theater. But over the course of the film and through the minions' loyalty to Gru, Gru ends up realizing by the end of the movie that he doesn't need to be this famous supervillain. All he needs is to have the minions by his side. And that truly is one of the best story arcs for a character I have ever seen. Truly remarkable. So truly, I don't think I needed to continue to prove to you that this is the greatest movie ever made. But nonetheless, I will. The dialogue. The dialogue is amazing. The part where Gru says, and I quote, "Well, I am pretty despicable," real line by the way, really made me realize how despicable Gru is right from the beginning and helps you set up his arc throughout the film. The minions constantly say three things: banana, blah blah blah, and mini boss.
Hey, boss!
And this is to show you how the minions are loyal to only their boss and nothing else besides bananas. Everything else is truly just blah 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 to them. And this goes to set up the arc of saving their mini boss. Again, truly remarkable dialogue in this film. The whole idea of someone getting caught up in fame and abandoning their loyal friends to get that fame, only to realize they truly need those loyal friends, is so well done in this film it would make grown men cry. Nay, did make grown men cry. I couldn't stop myself from crying while walking out of this film because of how beautiful the filmmakers made this story. At the end of the day, you might just write Minions off as a dumb little kid's film with a surprising amount of ass, but you would be wrong. This is true filmmaking at its finest. None of that Marvel or DC crap. This is what films were meant to be like. That being said, this is going to be a timeless classic, and for that reason, 200 million cheeks out of 100 Despicable Me's on the Slosh scale. This is the best picture of the year, for sure. No way. And I will outrage on Twitter if it doesn't win the Oscar. Thor Ragnarok was a completely unexpected turn in the Thor franchise. After two of some of the less well-received Marvel movies, personally for me, Taika Waititi came in and completely changed Thor with this movie that was funny, had awesome fights, bright colors. The movie was awesome. So I was very excited for Thor Love and Thunder, and this movie is good. Real good. It's a real fun time at the theater, but this is not on the same tier as Ragnarok, sadly. Let's start with the comedy. Ragnarok's biggest problem was turning everything into a joke. Destruction of Asgard? Boom, joke. Thor's friends dying? Boom, joke. Everything was a joke, and this movie is no different. The movie has a lot of hard topics in it, but none of it is taken very seriously and is turned into a funny joke. And while for me, 80% of the jokes landed, it's still a little off-putting when someone is dying and you immediately go into a joke about their hand being in Valhalla. However, like stated before, for me, the rest of my theater, most of these jokes landed. It is pretty goofy and gives a good time. So while it may be a bit off-putting, it puts a smile on my face, so it made for a fun time, even if it may feel unearned at points. The story here is pretty rushed and seems like it's on the back burner for jokes sometimes. I feel this movie could have put a good 15 to 20 extra minutes on this and fleshed out a good amount of the plot lines that feel rushed currently, and it would have put the story back in the forefront. The whole Mighty Thor plotline was really rushed into. They took no time setting that up. It was just bam, it's there, it's happening. Christian Bale has like 15 minutes of screen time here. While I feel like if you went into his backstory deeper, gave him a bit more time, suddenly you have one of the best villains ever. But as the way it stands, his performance is amazing, but I sadly didn't end up caring too much for his motives here. Like I just said, Christian Bale is amazing in this movie. In other news, the desert is dry. Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman bring amazing performances here as well. They both actually made me care about their romance this time around. The last two movies, I didn't give a shit about their romance, if I'm going to be real. I feel Tessa Thompson is also super underutilized like Christian Bale. She is put on the back burner to give more room for the Mighty Thor to shine and pulls like a Kingo and just disappears for the entire third act, which is sad because Valkyrie is cool and I would have liked to see a little more. Fight scenes in this movie are just as stylized and badass as Ragnarok, possibly even better. I really like one in particular where they are on the shadow planet thing and the whole fight is in grayscale. It's really cool. There are two post-credit scenes here that are both good. They do their job and set up what's next for Thor. Overall, Thor Love and Thunder is a worthy addition to the Thor franchise and MCU in general. I'm giving this an 80 out of 100 on the Slosh scale, and we'll place it around here on the official MCU tier list based on my personal enjoyment. I also quickly want to talk about The Boys Season 3. The Boys, in my opinion, is the best show currently running on TV as of now. It would have been so easy for Season 1 to be a big fluke and have them lose all the magic, but then Season 2 came out and that was just as good, and now we have a third season that's amazing as well. This is so fucking good here, Season 3. The characters are still as amazing as ever. Homelander is one of the best, if not the best, antagonists ever on TV. Butcher is as badass as ever. Kimiko and Frenchie are still amazing. is given a lot more time here to really shine and step into the forefront. Starlight, A-Train, they're all so good. But by far the standout of the season was Soldier Boy. He was so interesting as this weapon of mass destruction that's unpredictable and like the original superhero. It was really interesting. I loved every scene with him in it, and Jensen Ackles is so good at playing this shitty Captain America. I could go on and on ranting and raving about this show and all the good parts of the action, the emotions, everything. I feel like there's only a few downsides, and I'd rather just talk about the few downsides and get them out of the way. The Deep is treated as a complete joke. He's treated as a joke in most of the seasons, but I thought with him rejoining the Seven and everything, he might actually have something to do in this season. He does nothing. He's a joke, which, I don't know. It isn't bad, but I felt like you could have done a bit more with him now that, like I said, he's back in the Seven, he's talking to Homelander, etc. I also loved but hated what they did with Black Noir. It's hard to talk about without spoiling anything, but Black Noir is done super well until closer to the finale when they kind of just like stop using him, which is upsetting to see because of this amazing setup you had, but whatever. Overall, this is still such an amazing show. This is getting like a 90 out of 100 on the Slosh scale. Go watch The Boys. You'll have a good time.
Pink Eye! Pink Eye! Where are you?
Hey, boss.
Oh, there you are.